are constantly studying alone. But there is a place where we can come together. The Digital Readers Club is our online ecclesia meant for those who've forsaken churchianity, but still want the closeness of a family to study with. Join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to put together the puzzle pieces of truth scattered throughout the ancient scriptures.
Hello and welcome everybody. I'm your host for tonight, Justin James Garcia, and I'm excited to be back with you all after a short hiatus after Ezra was born and after contracting COVID and dealing with that for the past couple of weeks. Definitely have missed you all and looking forward to getting back into the wisdom of the son of Sirach. This will be our sixth reading through the text, and we should have one more after this before we finish that up. I do welcome everybody that's joining over the YouTube live stream. Definitely, if you haven't already, check out the description box below the video where you can find an invitation link to our Discord server. You can jump over and actually read, participate with us over here. We'd love to have you join us. There's also some prayer request channels. There's a bunch of different channels to discuss various topics, dreams and flat earth or Hebrew or holistic things, homesteading, stuff like that. Yeah, stuff for everyone. But I definitely encourage you to come check us out, hang out with us over here. If you are just catching the recording or just hanging out in the live stream, it's all good. Definitely appreciate you coming to hang out and reading tonight. It's going to be really cool.
And I was so
I'm going to jump over here into the Discord server and welcome everybody. Sorry to interrupt. I know you were having a lively chat. I just wanted to bring you on to the live stream and say welcome. It's good to see you all again.
Good to see you, son.
Here.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, Justin.
certainly.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank God.
Definitely. Praise God indeed. Hallelujah. It was been like 3 or 4 weeks now, I guess. I was saying after Ezra was born, we took a week off, and then when Ezra was 2 weeks, we all got COVID. That was a really
So crazy.
fun affair.
Oh my
Coming
God.
to the wilderness of that, right?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Was he very sick, Justin?
He got hot one night, and I'm not sure if it's because he was sleeping like in my arms and I was so hot that he was a little fussy. But for the most part, he gets antibodies from breast milk, so he was really well taken care of because Julia is a very healthy woman. She was able to defeat the worst part of it in just a couple days, so her body was producing everything that Ezra needed to defeat the cold. And then also we shared a little bit of the breast milk with Eliana as well to help her get some antibodies. But Eliana and I think had it the worst. It's tough watching your little one be sick and not being able to comfort them.
Is that her first time being sick?
Yeah, it's her first time
Wow.
ever being sick. She's had a couple nights where she'd have like sniffles, but never been like sick throughout the day. This was a little bit different. As soon as she would wake up from a nap, even she would, kind of just lay down on the floor because I don't know. Same with me. You just lose strength. It takes a while to get your strength back.
Wiped out.
Yeah, it really does. Wow. So glad that you guys are going through all of that and the symptoms are going away.
Yeah, thankfully now it's just like allergies, still a little stuffy and coughing up white blood cells. But yeah, how have the readings been?
Most excellent.
I think we're on chapter 39 now, right? Did I miss anything?
Yes, I think that's right. Unless anyone else has a different chapter, that's what we're at.
Sharon's been doing a most excellent job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Definitely major shout out. Sharon, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, how did everything go
Our own
with
show.
you? Did you have fun hosting, and did everybody behave properly?
No, they were just a wild, crazy bunch, especially Zen.
Had to crack the whip a few times, but she put me in line pretty good.
It was a blessing. I was just so grateful to be able to help.
Awesome. Yeah, we
Yeah,
really
we appreciate that.
appreciate you so very much for stepping up and being willing to do that and make sure that we were still able to do the studies, make our way through. This book has been taking us quite a while to get through. 1611 KJV Apocrypha. I think we're up to page 284 now, and it goes
Got
up to
great info.
475. So we still have quite a bit left, but yeah, it's
That's well worth it.
interesting. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to get into some of the prophecies after this one with Baruch and Jeremiah.
Yes.
Anybody there?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Penny.
Can you hear us, Penny?
I guess I've lost everybody.
We
Oh,
can hear you.
We're here, sister.
She's probably not able to hear us for some reason.
Yeah. Somebody.
Can you
typed
hear me
something
now?
maybe.
No.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. I can hear you, Sharon.
Can you hear us,
Oh,
Penny?
really?
Yes? Coming
There we
in.
go.
You're good.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yay.
Lisa, your microphone is still fuzzy for some reason.
Is it really? Okay,
Yep.
I'm gonna sign out real quick and come right back. If that helps.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's so crackly.
Was
Yeah.
it like that the past few weeks?
It's
Um,
been more in and out.
Yeah, not horrible though.
It's your electric personality is affecting it there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The AI is trying to take over.
Hey Clark, how have you been? Are you get on the mend too?
I'm doing fine. I was sick for 4 weeks with it, Justin.
Wow.
Actually, almost 5.
Oh goodness, brother.
Yeah, it totally wiped out, man. I got so far behind and everything. I've been scrambling this week to just kind of stay ahead of everything. But yeah, it zaps you from all energy.
Yeah, you just gotta rest.
Yeah, I mean you're forced to because there's nothing. Yeah, the first 24 hours for me were really bad. Sound like you're over the worst of it though.
Yeah, thankfully they are. What was it that held you down for so long? I had a recurring fever that kept coming back like every other day.
Wow, yeah, I didn't really suffer from the fever. I had horrible dried heaves.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah, like full intensity. I had that for the first solid 24 hours. And then I went into the severe abdominal cramps. It was really nasty. It was really quite painful. So that was the first.
It's horrible.
That is horrible, man. It was really.
Noble said
to be
you had
honest,
morning sickness.
I know.
Where's our mic now? Can you hear us better?
I'm kidding.
Good night. Good Mike Noel. All right.
Are we still
Yeah,
fuzzy or-
you sound.
okay.
There's no crackling. Not that I hear.
Okay.
Good.
Anyways.
Okay, great.
So we're glad you're with us, Justin. You're on the upswing. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Take all your
definitely
good vitamins.
can't help
Zinc,
but
vitamin C.
think about Rob the whole time,
Oh,
man.
no
I
doubt.
have this thing, just like,
Yeah.
I guess it hits everybody different, There was never a point where I felt like I had lost my breath, thankfully.
That's got to be the worst.
Yeah, I just can't imagine. Yeah, it hits everybody differently, I suppose. Whatever it
Yeah.
is.
When we all had this in January, we all were down, fever, everything, cold
Almost 3
chills.
weeks, yeah.
Almost 3 weeks it takes to kind of get the strength a little bit back. It's rough.
Did you lose your flavor, your taste at all?
That
I
didn't happen to
didn't.
me.
Really?
The Haagen-Dazs still tasted good.
I hear you, brother.
For some reason, everything I ate, even water, after like the second day, just started tasting like metal. Everything started
Yeah.
tasting like metal. That was pretty terrible.
Oh man.
My niece had COVID and she said she couldn't taste anything.
Really?
We've heard of others that lost their taste. It seems that that's kind of a common thing, but who knows, whatever strain is out there, right? It affects everyone different.
Right. Yeah, they didn't ship the right variants to all the different places, I guess. We've got different ones.
There's various levels of pollutants floating around.
Yeah.
Or it attacks your weak point. Everybody has
Yeah.
different points.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, well, it is 8:12, so I want to welcome everybody. Again, thank you so much for participating in the Digital Readers Club. It's going to be a lot of fun to continue this reading. Shout out to everybody joining over in the YouTube live stream. Tammy, awesome to see you. Greg, Kenny, I see you over the live stream as well. Kay, good to see you. Shalom and blessings to you as well. Adrian, Yellow Sun Ocean, Christian, Lords, Terry, Donnie, Brenda, miss your voice over here, but prayerfully you are
A lot of
well.
people on Discord.
NW Johnson, Vicky Vasquez, Terry, good to see everybody. Yeah, we're going to jump over into the reading here. We'll say a quick prayer. Father Yahuwah, thank you so much for preserving our lives to this moment where we could join together, to come together and to be able to study this text that used to be part of the canonized word which we've received, the bundle of your testimony. Thank you so much for giving us the freedom to be able to read this openly and study it without fear of any repercussions from our governments or anyone that might be listening. We're so grateful for your protection and for your sustenance, and for the health that you bless us all with. Please continue to watch after us and keep us in your grace. We praise you and thank you for your grace, churches for the world, for all those who would confess faith in you, believe in the power of your resurrection. We praise you and Yahushua.
Amen.
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 Right, Brother Clark, it looks like you are up first. We're going to start out on Wisdom of Jesus, son of Sirach, chapter 39.
Continuing. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences, and be conversant in dark parables. He shall serve among great men, and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries, and he hath tried the good and the evil among men. He will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer, and make supplication for his sins. When the great Lord will, he shall be filled with the spirit of understanding, and he shall pour out wisdom to the Lord in his prayer. He shall direct his counsel and knowledge, and in his secrets shall he meditate. He shall shew forth that which he hath learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord. Many shall command his understanding, and so long as the world endureth, it shall not be blotted out. His memorial shall not depart away, and his name shall live from generation to generation. Nations shall show forth his wisdom, and the congregation shall declare his praise. If he die, he shall leave a greater name than 1,000, and if he live, he shall increase it. Yet more have I to say, which I have thought upon, for I am filled as the moon at full. Hearken unto me, ye holy children, and bud forth as a rose growing by the brook of the field, and give ye a sweet savor as frankincense, and flourish as a lily. Send forth a smell, and sing a song of praise. Bless the Lord in all his works. Magnify his name, and show forth his praise with the songs of your lips, and with harps. And in praising him ye shall say after this manner, all the works of the Lord are exceedingly good, and whatsoever he commandeth shall be accomplished in due season. And none may say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For at time convenient they shall all be sought out. At his commandment the waters stood up as an heap, and at the words of his mouth the receptacles of waters. And at his commandment is done whatsoever pleaseth him, and none can hinder when he will save. Yes.
The works of all flesh are before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes. He seeth from everlasting to everlasting, and there is nothing wonderful before him. A man need not to say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For he hath made all things for their uses. His blessing covered the dry land as a river, and watered it as a flood. As he hath turned the waters into saltness, so shall the heathen inherit his wrath. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. For the good are things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force, and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail, and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come. They shall not transgress his word. Therefore, from the beginning I was resolved, and thought upon these things, and have left them in writing. All the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season, so that a man cannot say, this is worse than that. For in time they shall all be well approved. And therefore praise ye the Lord with the whole heart and mouth, and bless the name of the Lord. Pass.
Chapter 40. Great travail is created for every man, and a heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam. From the day that they go out of their mother's womb, till the day that they return to the mother of all things. Their imagination of things to come, the day of death, trouble their thoughts, and cause fear of heart. Him that sitteth on a throne of glory, and to him that is humbled in earth and ashes, From him that weareth purple in a crown, and to him that is clothed with the linen frock. Wrath and envy, trouble and unquietness, fear of death, and anger, and strife, and in time of rest upon his bed his night's sleep do change his knowledge. A little or nothing is his rest, and afterward he is in his sleep, as in a day of keeping watch, troubled in the vision of his heart, as if he were escaped out of a battle. When all is safe, he awaketh and marvelleth that the fear was nothing. Such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast, that is sevenfold more upon sinners. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge, these things are created for the wicked, for their sakes came blood. All things that are of the earth shall turn to the earth again, and that which is of the waters doth return into the sea. All bribery and injustice shall be blotted out. The true dealing shall endure forever. The goods of the unjust shall be dried up like a river, and shall vanish with noise, like a great thunder and rain. While he openeth his hand, he shall rejoice. So shall transgressors come to naught. The children of the ungodly shall not bring forth many branches, but are as an unclean root upon a hard rock. The weed growing upon every water and bank of a river shall be pulled up before all grass. Bountifulness is as a most fruitful garden, and mercifulness endureth forever. To labor and to be content with what a man hath is a sweet life. He that findeth the treasure is above them both. Children and the building of a city continue a man's name, but a blameless wife is counted above them both. Wine and music rejoice the heart, but the love of wisdom is above them both. The pipe and the psaltery make sweet melody, but a pleasant tongue is above them both. Thine eyes desireth favor and beauty, but more than both, corn while it is green. A friend and companion never meet amiss, but above both is a wife with her husband. Brethren and help are against time of trouble, but alms shall deliver more than both. Gold and silver make the foot stand sure, but counsel is esteemed above them both. Riches and strength lift up the heart, but the fear of the Lord is above them both. There is no want in the fear of the Lord, and it needeth not to seek help. Fear of the Lord is a fruitful garden, and covereth him above all glory. My son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg. The life of him that dependeth on another man's table is not to be counted for a life, for he polluteth himself with other men's meat. But a wise man, well nurtured, will beware thereof. Begging is sweet in the mouth of the shameless, but in his belly there shall burn a fire. Pass.
Chapter 41. O death, how bitter is the remembrance of thee to a man that liveth at rest in his possessions, and to the man that hath nothing to vex him, and that hath prosperity in all things, yea, unto him that is yet able to receive meat. O death, acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy, and unto him whose strength faileth, that is now in the last age, and is vexed with all things, and to him that despaireth, and hath lost patience. Fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee, and that come after, for this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh. And why art thou against the pleasure of the Most High? There is no inquisition in the grave, whether thou hast lived 10 or 100 or 1,000 years. The children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. Children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. Woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High God. For if ye increase, it shall be to your destruction, and if ye be born, ye shall be born to a curse. If you die, a curse shall be your portion. All that are of the earth shall turn to earth again. So the ungodly shall go from a curse to destruction. The mourning of men is about their bodies, and an ill name of sinners shall be blotted out. Have regard to thy name, for that shall continue with thee above 1,000 great treasures of gold. A good life hath but few days, but a good name endureth forever. My children, keep discipline in peace, for wisdom that is hid, and a treasure that is not seen. What profit is in them both? A man that hideth his foolishness is better than a man that hideth his wisdom. Therefore be shamefaced according to my word, for it is not good to retain all shamefacedness, neither it is altogether approved in everything. Be ashamed of whoredom before father and mother, and of a lie before a prince and a mighty man, of an offense before a judge and ruler, of iniquity before a congregation and people, of unjust dealing before thy partner and friend, and of theft in regard of the place where thou sojournest, and in regard of the truth of God and his covenant, and to lean with thine elbow upon the meat, and of scorning to give and take.
Verse
And Noble's going to read here.
20. Okay. Of silence before them that salute thee, to look upon an harlot, to turn away thy face from the kinsman, to take away a portion or a gift, to gaze upon another man's wife, to be over busy with his maid, and come not near her bed, or of upbraiding speeches before friends. And after thou hast given, upbraid not, or of iterating and speaking again that which thou hast heard, and of revealing of secrets, so that so shalt thou be truly shamefaced, find favor before all men. Yes.
Chapter 42. Of these things be not thou ashamed, and accept no person to sin thereby. Of the law of the Most High and his covenant, and of judgment to justify the ungodly. Of reckoning with thy partners and travelers, or of the gift of the inheritage of friends, of exactness of balance and weights, or of getting much more or little, and of merchants indifferent selling, of such correction of children, and to make the side of an evil servant to bleed. Sure keeping is good, where an evil wife is, and shut up where many hands are. Deliver all things in number and weight, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receiveth in. Be not ashamed to inform the unwise and foolish and the extreme aged that contended with those that are young. Thus shalt thou be truly learned and approved of all men living. The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care of her taketh away sleep. When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated. In her virginity, lest she should be defiled, and gotten with child in her father's house, and having an husband, lest she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, lest she should be barren. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughingstock to thine enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. Behold not everybody's beauty, and sit not in the midst of women, for from garments cometh a moth, and from women wickedness. Pass.
Better is the churlishness of a man than a courteous woman. A woman, I say, which bringeth shame and reproach. I will now remember the works of the Lord, and declare the things that I have seen. And the words of the Lord are his works. The sun that giveth light looketh upon all things, and the work therefore is full of the glory of the Lord. The Lord hath not given power to the saints to declare all his marvelous works, which the Almighty Lord firmly settled, that whatsoever is might be established for his glory. He seeketh out the deep in the heart, and considereth their crafty devices. For the Lord knoweth all that may be known, and he beholdeth the signs of the world. He declareth the things that are past, and for to come, and revealeth the steps of hidden things. No thought escapeth him, neither any word is hidden from him. He hath garnished the excellent works of his wisdom, and he is from everlasting to everlasting. Unto him may nothing be added, neither can he be diminished. And he hath no need of any counselor. Oh, how desirable are all his works, and that a man may see even to a spark. All these things live and remain forever for all uses, and they are all obedient. All things are double one against another, and he hath made nothing imperfect. One thing established the good for another, and who shall be filled with beholding his glory? Pass.
Chapter 43. Excuse me. The pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven, with his glorious show. The sun when it appeareth, declaring at his rising, a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon it parcheth the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof? A man blowing is in works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors, and sending forth bright beams, it dimmeth the eyes. Great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment runneth hastily. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times, and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feasts, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of the Lord. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order, and never faint in their watches. Look upon the rainbow, and praise him that made it. Very beautiful it is, and the brightness thereof. It compassed the heaven about with a glorious circle, and by the hands of the Most High have bended it. By his commandment he maketh the snow fall apace, and sendeth swiftly the lightnings of his judgment. Through this the treasures are opened, and clouds fly forth as fowls. By his great power he maketh the clouds firm, and the hailstones are broken small. At his sight the mountains are shaken, and at his will the south wind bloweth. The noise of the thunder maketh the earth to tremble. So doth the northern storm and the whirlwind. As birds flying he scattereth the snow, and the falling down thereof is as the lighting of grasshoppers. Pass.
What verse is that?
18, brother.
Okay, thank you. The hoarfrost also as salt he poureth on the earth, and being congealed, it lieth on the top of sharp stakes. When the cold north wind bloweth, and the water is congealed into ice, it abideth upon every gathering together of water, and clotheth the water as with a breastplate. It devoureth the mountains, and burneth the wilderness, and consumeth fire. A present remedy of all is a mist coming speedily, a dew coming after heat, refresheth. By his counsel he appeaseth the deep, and planteth islands therein. They that sail on the sea tell of the danger thereof, and when we hear it with our ears, we marvel thereat. For therein be strange and wondrous works, variety of all kinds of beasts, and whales created. By him the end of them hath prosperous success, and by his word all things consist. We may speak much and yet come short, wherefore in sum he is all. How shall we be able to magnify him? For he is great above all his works. The Lord is terrible and great, and marvelous is his power. When ye glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough. Who hath seen him, that he might tell us? And who can magnify him as he is? There are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works. For the Lord hath made all things, and to the godly hath he given wisdom. Pass.
Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power, beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding, prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels, by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people. Wise and eloquent by their instructions, such as found out musical tunes and recited verses and writing. Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. All these were honored in their generation for the glory of their times. There be of them have left a name behind them, their praises might be reported. Some there be have no memorial, or perished, as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. These were merciful men, whose righteousness hath not been, but their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance. Their children are within the covenant. Seed standeth fast, their children for their sakes. The seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. Their bodies are buried in peace, for their name liveth forevermore. People will tell of their wisdom. The congregation will show forth their praise. Enoch pleased the Lord, and was translated, being an example of repentance to all generations. Noah was found perfect and righteous. In the time of wrath he was taken in exchange for the world. Therefore was he left as a remnant unto the earth. The flood came. An everlasting covenant was made with him, that all flesh should perish no more by the flood. Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory there was none like unto him. He kept the law of the Most High, and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh. When he was proved, he was found faithful. Therefore he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nation his seed, that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, exalt his seed as the stars, cause them to inherit from the river unto the utmost part of the land. With Isaac did he establish likewise, for Abraham his father's sake, blessing of all men, covenant, made it rest upon the head of Jacob, acknowledged him his blessing, and gave him an heritage, and divided his portions among the 12 tribes did he part them.
Chapter 45. He brought out of him a merciful man, which found favor in the sight of all flesh, even Moses, beloved of God and men, whose memorial is blessed. He made him like to the glorious saints, and magnified him, so that his enemies stood in fear of him. By his words he caused the wonders to cease. He made him glorious in the sight of kings, and gave him a commandment for his people, and showed him part of his glory. He sanctified him in his faithfulness and meekness, and chose him out of all men. He made him to hear his voice, and brought him into the dark cloud, and gave him commandments before his face, even the law of life and knowledge, that he might teach Jacob his covenants, and Israel his judgments. He exalted Aaron, an holy man like unto him, even his brother of the tribe of Levi. An everlasting covenant he made with him, and he gave him the priesthood among the people. He beautified him with comely ornaments, and clothed him with a robe of glory. He put upon him perfect glory, and strengthened him with rich garments, with breeches, with a long robe, and the ephod. They compassed him with pomegranates, and with many golden bells round about, that as he went there might be a sound, and a noise made that might be heard in the temple, for a memorial to the children of his people.
Then, with an holy garment, gold, blue silk, and purple, work of the embroiderer, a breastplate of judgment, with Urim and Thummim, each with twisted scarlet, the work of the cunning workman, with precious stones graven like seals, set in gold, work of the jeweler, with a writing engraved for a memorial, after the number of the tribes of Israel. He set a crown of gold upon the mitre, wherein was engraved holiness, an ornament of honor, costly work, desires of the eyes, goodly and beautiful. Before him there were none such, neither did ever any stranger put them on, only his children and his children's children perpetually. Sacrifices shall be wholly consumed every day twice continually. Moses consecrated him and anointed him with holy oil. This was appointed unto him by an everlasting covenant, to his seed, long as the heavens should remain, that they should minister unto him and execute the office of the priesthood, and bless the people in his name. Yes.
He chose him out of all men living to offer sacrifices to the Lord, incense and a sweet savor for a memorial, to make reconciliation for his people. He gave unto him his commandments and authority in the statutes of judgments, that he should teach Jacob the testimonies and inform Israel in his laws. Strangers conspired together against him and maligned him in the wilderness, even the men that were of Dathan's and Abiron's side, and the congregation of Korah, with fury and wrath. This the Lord saw, and it displeased him, and in his wrathful indignation were they consumed. He did wonders upon them to consume them with the fiery flame, but he made Aaron more honorable, and gave him a heritage, and divided unto him the firstfruits of the increase. Especially he prepared bread in abundance. For they eat of the sacrifices of the Lord, which he gave unto him and his seed. Howbeit, in the land of the people he had no inheritance, neither had he any portion among the people, for the Lord himself is his portion and inheritance. The third in glory is Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, because he had zeal in the fear of the Lord, and stood up with good courage of heart when the people were turned back, and made reconciliation for Israel. Therefore was there a covenant of peace made with him, that he should be the chief of the sanctuary and of his people, and that he and his posterity should have the dignity of the priesthood forever, according to the covenant made with David, son of Jesse, of the tribe of Judah, that the inheritance of the king should be to his posterity alone. So the inheritance of Aaron should also be unto his seed. God give you wisdom in your heart to judge his people in righteousness, that their good things be not abolished, and that their glory may endure forever. Pass.
Definitely had a lot to have a lot to discuss. I really enjoyed the beginning. So after the reading, we always move into a time of sharing insights, emphasizing any specific verses that stuck out to us. And I'll just start real quick with something kind of basic that stood out to me. It said, "The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil." I just thought everything that was listed could be turned evil, and then I just thought that that's so interesting. Water, of course, is good, right? But it can be turned evil if you think of, all the additives. Like they encourage babies to drink fluoridated water for some reason. I have no idea why babies would need to worry about their teeth when they're newborns, or at 6 months or whatever, when they start drinking water. Why do they need to drink fluoridated water? Why do they need all these additives? And when you look around all the purified water bottles that they sell out there, if you actually read, it says purified water with minerals and stuff added for taste is what they say. But just think, there's definitely something in the water out there. Same with the salt and the flour. The flour definitely with like unbleached or bleached flour and things like this. That I feel like if you have a well and if you grow your own food and you grind your own flour, I feel like that's doing it right. You're able to spark your own fire and get your own milk, get your own grapes, then this is like proper. And I feel like we've moved so far away from that in Babylon, where even grapes are on this list called the Dirty Dozen. They're like one of the dirtiest fruit or vegetables that are available, because there are so many preservatives and pesticides that are thrown on every grape that is sold. All the non-organic stuff is so bad for you. And then the oils that are sold, you never know what kind of oil you're actually getting, and you don't know how it was processed. Same with clothing even. The clothing that we have all these synthetic fibers that bring negative charges into our bodies and cause us to have disease and immune system deficiencies. Same with the milk. Everything here that they listed is so true. These are what they call the principal things for the whole use of man's life. And how crazy is it that Babylon has totally taking control of how they're given out to the masses. I feel like it's really corrupted our bodies so greatly.
It takes a lot of effort to search out the good stuff, you know?
Mhm.
You know, if I could add something there, Justin, if you go down a few verses from where you read to verse 29, well, you know, following verses are just as good, but I think there's a connection there to what you're saying. You know, fire, hail, famine, and death, verse 29, and all these were created for vengeance. But that's the cognitive disconnect they sell us. That's not the story of science and the cosmopolitan. Fire, hail, famine, and death, those aren't created for vengeance, right? That's that's the other thing they tell us that's different. It keeps our minds away from the Most High and that He's the creator of all.
Just global warming.
Yeah, it's
not a
global
judgment.
warming. We're in control of it all, you know. And you know, I want to say something here too, because in verse 28, up one, well, verse 27, right? All things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. That's, you know, there not only is the world and the world system doing it, but we have the chance also, right? It says 28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes, and in the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. This is something that comes out in so many of the texts, Zen, that you brought forth, and you know, so many of the other texts. But to me, that's of importance because as believers, you know, I had a misconception for so many years that, and I think a lot of people do, about, you know, spirits that are created for vengeance. But people don't see him that way. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing, right? Does that make any sense, what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, like you know, the demons are in control of illness and disease.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and they attack the body, and those, you know, a lot of physical ailments, and even the word disease, you know, is not ease. When the
Right.
body's not at ease, not at comfort, and so those kind of things, um, believers, and a lot of it depends upon, you know, whether believers have faith and also relationship with the Most High. And then you look at the world and see how things are just falling apart, and the drug addictions and the homelessness, and how so many are so far away from having any kind of relationship with the Most High than other than casting blame, you know, on him for their their
Right.
situations, their circumstances, and
Yeah.
how that, you know, is beneficial in any way. So, yeah, we see, especially in the world today, that the demons are rampant in their menace of society, and especially, you know, people that open themselves up to a lot of the drug addictions, um, and because those are, you know, demonic doorways that you're inviting spirits into your life when you are, you know, abusing those kind of medicines, pharmakia.
Right. Right.
It's really
You know,
interesting
equal.
what you point out there. That these are spirits that were created by God for vengeance, right? And
Yeah.
Hmm.
they lay their fury on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force, and God finds pleasure in this. Like
Uh,
you were saying, it's really an interesting concept.
And I'll be quiet after this thing. Verse 31, at the end of the verse, right? Well, I'll read the verse. It says, "They shall rejoice in His commandment to lay on the strokes," right? "And they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress His word." I was like, wow, that's in comparison of who, right? The watchers.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to bring
Right?
forth the verse in First Enoch that goes with that about First Enoch 20 verse 2, it talks about the angels and how Raguel, one of the holy angels who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries. So there's that word again. It just reminded me a lot of that. And then there's you can tell this author, of course, has read the Book of Enoch and quotes from it several times here. I also caught it in chapter 44. Verse 9, where it said, "And some there be which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and become as though they had never been born, and their children after them." And in Enoch, of course, it says it would have been better for them had they not been born. It's kind of just along the same lines as you guys were saying with the powers of the air, and how that they are created to take vengeance, and they'll come as though they had never been born. It's very interesting there.
It's also in the Bible. I can't remember where. But
For those that harm the innocent, the children.
Yeah. I think everybody should read this text multiple times. It's an awesome text. I love it.
I agree.
It's just so filled. It's incredible.
Right.
That's been a really cool text that you guys have pointed out. A lot of the base of this writing in Enoch, Proverbs, various places throughout the Bible that we still have. So interesting that you would be from there. Like a pretty good what we've received canon. Yeah, it's been a really awesome reading. Glad to going back with everybody. Going to wrap up the study. We have a couple minutes left. Definitely appreciate everybody. Sister Lisa, you said we're going to be picking up on the Hebrew classes next week. Is that?
Yes, Isaac is still off island, so as soon as he comes back, then we'll be able to operate tech again. So next week, the 13th, we'll resume.
Right on. You guys are stuck right now, huh?
Yeah.
We're not having fun at all. No fun.
Can you even get your Netflix to work?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Netflix is working.
I can't operate remote controls very well, but no, Isaac is definitely a blessing to our ministry. We wouldn't be able to do that without him.
Just like Justin is.
He finds a girlfriend when in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys
super
are
funny.
great family partnership there. Family ministry. We love you all so much. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the study. And we'll pick this up next week, next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Yah willing. We'll join together and we'll finish this one off before moving to the book of Baruch. Great to study as well. Looking forward to it. Everybody have a great night. Shalom and blessings.
I am
Love.
Groot. I'm Groot. I am Baruch.
Shalom.
Blessed off.
Love you all.
Good night, shalom.
Shalom.
Love you
God
guys.
bless you guys.
Good to be
Zan, I
with
need to
you.
ask you a question.
Many truth seekers are constantly studying alone. But there is a place where we can come together. The Digital Readers Club is our online ecclesia meant for those who've forsaken churchianity but still want the closeness of a family to study with. Join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to put together the puzzle pieces of truth scattered throughout the ancient scriptures.